Hey everyone, welcome to this quick tutorial that is going to cover how to get the console windows in Linux Mint to talk. Now, I was having a discussion in the comments for my demo. I think it was a demo for Audio Game Manager, and the topic of consoles came up because I was talking about that in my demo. And basically what this is, if you hit Control Alt and F1 through F6, there are six different terminal windows that you can jump into that are independent of your graphical environment. And you might want to use these maybe, like I said, maybe the system has locked up, or actually it's probably not even the system at fault, it's probably Orca, but you want to troubleshoot or restart the computer. So this is basically how you do it. Now, like I said in the comments, for security reasons, modern Linux, it prevents you from using audio out by default outside of your user session. So when you boot the computer and you get to the login window, the sound is locked to that particular user environment, not the whole system. So the way to get around this is actually running a script that is included in the Fenreer console reader. And I'm not going to talk about how to run that in this demo because it requires some dependencies that don't seem to work properly on Mint. So I'm not going to install that. I am going to use SpeakUp, which is built into Linux. Actually, I believe it's built into the kernel, and I'm going to use a package called espeakup to make it talk, which basically uses eSpeak to speak. Now, I know it's not the greatest voice, but in those cases where you need to have access, having it talk is better than not having it talk at all, even if that voice is trash. So let's go ahead. I'm going to hit number 4 on the KVM, and I'm already in the terminal, and I've already installed Git. So what we need to do is download the latest version of Fenreer. So we'll do
GIT space CLONE space HTTPS://GIT period STORMUX period ORG slash STORM/FENRIR return cloning into Fenreer. Remote enumerating objects 23239 left control 7% 22542 8% resolving Chris at Mint
it's
dollar
done.
sign.
So yes, in case you haven't figured it out by now, this reader is also being maintained by the same guy that maintains the other projects I've been demoing on this channel lately. So now we'll type cd
space
Fenreer, or I'll just type FEN.
FEN tag reader slash.
So basically, I'm in my home folder, so wherever you run this command, it will clone into a folder called Fenreer in the current folder, which is, of course, my home folder.
Return Chris Mint Fenreer. Chris at Mint/Fenreer dollar sign.
So
Chris
here we
Mint,
are.
Fenreer left control.
And I didn't talk about this when I was demoing Audio Game Manager, but if you've used Git to pull down some files from a repository, you can type in git pull
GIT space PULL
to check for any new stuff.
return already up to date. Chris at Mint/Fenreer dollar sign.
And it says I'm up to date because I just downloaded this, so presumably I have the current set of files. So I don't actually want to install this, and in fact I'm going to keep it around just long enough to do what I need to do. So inside this folder is a tools folder, so we'll do cd
space
tools
TOOLS return Chris Mint Fenreer 2 left control.
Now the script we want is configure Pipewire. Now you can either run configure Pipewire or configure Pulse. Most modern Linux distributions, including Mint 22, which of course I'm on 22.1 right now, will use Pipewire. So I'm going to run /configure Pipewire, and if I type /configure
tab E,
and then it does E and an underline. So if I go with the left arrow,
line E line blank,
I'm going to type PI and then tab.
Pipewire.sh.
All right, so we're going to run this as my standard user.
Return. Please ensure that your user is added to the audio group. If you have not yet done so, please run this script as root to write the client.conf file. Configuration created successfully. Please restart both Pipewire Pulseaudio and WirePlumber or your system for changes to take effect. Chris at Mint left control.
All right, so we did that. Now we'll do sudo
space period
/ configure underline PI tab
Pipewire.sh. Return. Sudo password for Chris.
And I'll type my password. Of course, I'm not going to tell you what my password is because that's
backspace. Return.
And
sorry, try again. Sudo password.
Let's try that again. I didn't type my password very well, did I?
Return. If you have not yet done so, run this script as your normal user to write the user configs configuration created successfully. Please restart both Pipewire Pulseaudio and WirePlumber or your system for changes to take effect. Chris at Mint /Fenreer /tools $.
All right, so we did that. The last step before we continue is adding my user to the audio group. And groups in Linux, I'm not going to get into that because, quite honestly, I don't understand it completely. But you can have groups of users and in different groups and things like that. So I believe the command is sudo
sudo space
usermod, so
usermod space -a space capital G.
Now I think
space
we type the username for, oh crap,
CHRIS space AUDIO. Return. Usermod. User audio does not exist. Chris at Mint /Fenreer
okay, no, it's
$.
the other way around. So we do sudo
sudo space usermod space -a space capital G.
And yes, the case does matter, so that's a capital G. And of course, I'll be putting these commands in the description, so if you want to look at them, you can.
Space.
Okay, now I think we do audio because that's the group name.
AUDIO space.
And then
CHRIS.
Chris, which is the user, but obviously you would replace Chris with the name that you have set on your account.
Return. Chris at Mint /Fenreer left control.
Okay, yep, so that's it. Now, last thing we need to do is sudo apt update.
Return. 0% working. In one HTTP, one package can be upgraded. Chris at Mint /Fenreer /tools $.
The repositories have been updated, and I'm going to run sudo
sudo space apt space install
install, and then espeakup
espeakup. Return. Reading package lists 0%. Selecting previous reading selecting reading
and
blank.
It's going to install it and automatically enable it.
Processing trick blank. Process /blank. Chris at process created created symlink /eat
Right.
processing triggers Chris at Mint /cd space.
Now we're gonna go back, so I'll do cd ~sign and
right
slash
check, tilde /
to go back to my home folder.
return Chris Mint Chris at Mint R.
And we'll get rid of the files for Fenreer because we don't need them anymore. So we'll do rm
M space hyphen
dash rf
F space FENRIR return. Chris at Mint $.
Now if we do an ls,
Return. Desktop documents, downloads, music, pictures, public templates, videos, Chris at Mint.
now I'm going to reboot. And the system is rebooting. So at this point, things are configured. You could restart the audio services and not have to reboot, but I think it's a lot quicker to just do a reboot once you've made these changes. And with any luck, it should work. Now, the thing I've noticed is you have to log in with your user account before it seems to work, and that's probably because of the way that this works. I'm not totally sure how this works. I think it creates 2 different sessions for Pipewire. One running in your user account and one running as root. And that's how it accomplishes that. But what I should be able to do once this comes back up is log in, hit Control-Alt F1 through F6, and have it start talking to me. So we're going to find out if that works. And hopefully I've jabbered long enough that you didn't have to sit here and wait. I was going to pause the recording, but...
Screen reader on. Login screen frame. Enter password for Christopher Wright. Password text. Bullet.
Right, so we're going to log in here.
Bullet.
And wait for it to load. And then I will show you how this works, assuming
Screen
I
reader on.
did it properly. So I'm going to hit Control-Alt F1 on my keyboard.
Left Alt.
Now it doesn't say anything, but if I start typing...
C.
Okay, well I had to type a bit for it to work, but now if I type...
CHRIS password.
We're going to log in here.
Chris at Mint $.
And as you can see, I am inside of a terminal. I don't know all the SpeakUp commands. I know you can use the numpad. So like if I hit numpad 7,
Lang password Mint login Chris.
Numpad 9 goes to the next line.
Password.
Numpad 8 reads the current line.
Password.
Numpad 4.
Left. Password : right. Chris at Mint : $.
Number 4 is previous word. Number 5 is current word. Number 6 is next word. 1 is previous character. 2 is current character. 3 is next. The Fenreer key, or not Fenreer, I get those confused sometimes. The key for SpeakUp is caps lock or numpad insert yeah. So if I hit, let's try caps lock F1.
Press space to exit, up or down to scroll, or a letter to go to a command.
This is help mode. You can press commands. So if I do like numpad 5.
Keypad 5 is word, say current.
If I do caps lock I.
SpeakUp I is line, say current.
So you can use this with a laptop. For example, caps lock U is previous line, I is current line, O is next line.
SpeakUp I is line, say SpeakUp K is word, say current.
Right, K is current word, J is previous word, L is next. And as you might be able to gather, caps lock N.
SpeakUp N is say position. SpeakUp M is character, say previous.
Oh, no, it's M, comma, and period, so...
SpeakUp, comma is character, say current. SpeakUp dot is character, say next.
Or you can up and down arrow.
Attribute leap increment is unassigned. Leap decrement is unassigned.
And look at all the commands. If you press like S.
Say attribute SpeakUp keypad dot or SpeakUp slash. Say from left SpeakUp keypad 4 or SpeakUp H.
Right. I don't know how you configure SpeakUp. I think there's config files. I am not a huge user of command line readers, but there's some people that really like them. And like I said, they can be quite useful. If I hit the space bar.
Leaving help.
But yeah, so you can do things like that. You can do SpeakUp enter. Actually, that doesn't work. I thought that would work. Let's go back. Well, I know if you hit numpad 0, that's also your modifier. So if you hit numpad 0 with numpad enter,
You turned me off.
that turns off speech, which you might want to do if you are doing something long and you don't want it to jabber, and if you want it back on.
Hey, that's better.
And I think those messages are kind of funny. I'm not sure if those have laptop commands. I would assume they do. But again, I'm not well versed in using SpeakUp. But anyway, yeah, so this is your console reader. I can do things in the console.
LS desktop documents, downloads, music, pictures, public templates, videos, Chris at Mint. $.
So you can do all the things that you can do in your graphical session in the terminal, except instead of Orca, the console screen reader is going to read things to you. If I hit Control Alt F2,
Linux Mint 22.10 Mint TTY2. Mint login.
it wants me to log in there. If I hit 3,
Linux Mint 22. Linux
4,
Mint
5,
Linux
6.
Mint 22.10 Mint TTY6. Mint login.
If I hit Control Alt F1, we're back to where I was.
Desktop.Chris at Mint. $.
And I'm still logged in, so be aware of that. You can be logged into multiple console windows at once. If I hit Control Alt F7, I should go back to my desktop. So now if I do Control Alt D,
Left D. Desktop. Icon view 0 items.
right? So now you're back there. So I can go back to my terminal in console 1.
Left Alt.
Desktop document.
Hit numpad 7, or I guess I could just hit numpad 8.
Desktop documents, downloads.
So yeah, and you can do exit, which would bring you back to the login prompt.
EXRT logout. Linux Mint 22.10 Mint TTY1. Mint login.
And there you go. So from now on, that will be running, and it will start when you boot your computer. And if you need to access the terminal for some reason and you want to use an independent reader, you can do that. So, you know, this may not apply to every single user, particularly if you're getting started, but it might be useful for those users that want a console reader. And I believe you can also use these scripts that come with Fenreer on pretty much any modern Linux distribution, and it will let you do this because, like I said, for some reason they block the audio from being used globally, probably for security reasons, but yeah, if you're blind, it's really annoying. So anyway, I hope that has helped. And if you have any questions, comments, things like that, let me know. But until next time, you guys take care. Bye.